Hello there. So, over the years as a music instructor, I have received a lot of the same types of questions from my students, and one of them being, what are dyads? I know what triads are, I know what quadrads are, but I'm not quite sure what dyads are. I have an idea, but I don't know exactly what they are. So, this is very commonly discussed, and I just wanted to clear up this confusion for any of you out there that might be wondering what dyads are and how you can use them, because I, for one, am a huge fan of using different dyad shapes in my songwriting and riff writing and whatnot. It's a great way to kind of spice up a kind of stale sounding chord progression. So first, I want to talk about what a dyad actually is. So in essence, a dyad is a chord that is made up of two different notes being played simultaneously. Now, depending on what type of dyad shape it is, some people argue that, two notes doesn't actually make a chord. They call that an interval, which is also true, but considering that a power chord is a dyad, so if the word chord is in the name of the power chord and it's made of two notes and it's a dyad, well then why can't the other types of dyads be considered chords as well, right? So anyway, the important thing to take away first and foremost is that a dyad is two notes being played simultaneously, often referred to as a chord in most cases. So in today's video, I'm just going to be breaking down a few different examples of dyads. I'm not going to be going through all of them today, but I just wanted to show you a few just to get you started if you're not familiar with what these shapes are and how to use them. And these are a few of my favorites. So starting with the obvious one, which is a power chord, right? In addition to power chords, I'm going to be talking about major third dyads, minor third dyads, and diminished fifth dyads. This isn't all of them. There's plenty of other ones like inverted power chords and augmented fifth power chords and all that sort of stuff. But just to keep it simple today, I'm going to be going over these few different shapes. So let us get started. So a power chord is just made up of the root note and the fifth, right? And there's a few different ways to play power chords. There are, the horizontal root fifth position shapes that I'm sure you've seen everywhere, and they're a staple in rock music. Okay, so today we're just gonna be exploring the various types of dyad shapes, starting with the tried and the true power chord shape, so the root fifth dyad shape. So there's a couple of ways that you can look at this, right? So here's an A5 root fifth position power chord shape. So as you can see, the root is right here, fifth fret on the E string, that's going to be A. And then we just count up 5 notes on the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be E, so that's going to be the fifth in this power chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 5 is your A5 power chord. It's the same everywhere else. And like I said before, that they are horizontal. They're like going across the neck like this, but there are also open power chord shapes. For example, if we put our first finger on the second fret of the A string here, and then we play the open E string alongside the A string, we have an open power chord shape. In this case, we have an open E5. Open E5 dyad shape. Same for an A5. We just slide our pointer finger down one string. So E5, A5. And then if we want to play a D5, slide your finger down one more string. Think of like the song TNT from AC/DC, right? Where it's using that open A5 and that open E5 power chord shapes. That's what the entire song essentially is built off of, excluding the outro and whatnot. But typical, tried and true staple of rock music, the power chord. And that's an example of a dyad. But there are others out there that exist. Okay, so let's take a look at a major third dyad. So using A as the root note again, All right, it's really easy to find where the third is going to be. So all you need to do is remember to go down a string and then back a fret to find the major third. And as you can hear, it's got a very pleasant kind of happy quality about it. That said, you can actually make some very, very evil sounding music with just the use of this major third shape, especially when using it in a chromatic based riff like I just did. What I just did there is basically kind of ripped off Bloodline from Slayer. Right? Using all major thirds with the exception of that open position power chord at the end, right? Power chord, third, 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 power chord, but all dyads. One extra little example that was really cool I thought was how there was a variation on that main riff in Holy Wars from Megadeth. Not the main riff, not the main chromatic like dig-a-ding, 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 right? But the that part, obviously that was all power chords just then, but then if you catch it around the 1 minute, 1 minute 15 second mark, you'll hear a variation on it using straight major thirds. So it's like, which sounds very evil, right? So there's another way that you can use major thirds to make it not sound happy at all. Okay, so where there is major, there is also minor, right? So we're now going to explore the minor third dyad shape. And again, using A as the root note. We did have, the major shape was here, right? Just to reiterate, we find that by going down one string and back one fret. Well, the minor third, all you need to do is take your index finger, slide it back another fret. So find the root note, go down one string, then back 2 frets. And I find that fretting it with my ring finger and my index finger feels the most comfortable. You can hear that really kind of somber quality about that, right? So let's take a look at the minor third shapes on their own, right? I know plenty of people have talked about this example already, but it bears repeating because it's such a great reference. If you listen to the chorus in This Love from Pantera, right, we have that super, super evil sounding set of minor thirds. Instead of, what was it? That's basically what it's simulating, which sounds all fine and good, right? If we were just using straight, power chords. But there's such an evil quality when we just switch to minor thirds. Super evil. Really, really, really effective. So when you combine the major third and the minor third dyad shapes together, they serve to create a very dramatic effect if used properly. And, properly is a subjective term, right? Experiment with this and figure out what sounds good to you. But just as a practical application, I wanted to show you a quick little riff that I wrote using both shapes. So here we go. right? So I'm just using a minor third, then major third. So it's got this very dark, gloomy kind of sound. And it leaves things very open to, create melodies from, in my opinion, from my perspective. Like, I already want to go. Right, getting that, maybe having that over this chord. Some other examples of combining the major and minor third dyad shapes would be like the intro in Orion from Metallica, right? We have the Okay, so the last one that I'm going to cover for today, just for practical application, is going to be the flat 5 dyad. So this is also known as the tritone. You can think of it as a sharp 4 or diminished fifth or anything like that. But basically what we do, we take a power chord, right? We'll go back to our A5 here, and we flatten that 5th degree 1/2 step. Now we have that flat 5. So many riffs in the metal world have been written based off of this. Slayer comes to mind, Metallica as well. Pretty much every single metal band ever. Opeth definitely comes to mind as well. Tons of death metal bands, black metal bands, right? And for good reason. It's super dissonant, right? It's super uncomfortable sounding, super creepy. It's got that ominous feeling about it, so it's great to kind of throw into a riff to create some tension. So I'd like to actually put them all together right now, just so you can have an example to work off of, and then maybe create your own spin on it and create your own riffs. So let's check it out. As you can see, this riff is incorporating every dyad shape that we've been talking about today. So starting out with our minor third shape, going into our major third, and then just repeating that. That's the minor third again, right? And then major third, before briefly going into our diminished fifth dyad shape, then a regular root 5th power chord, but it just looks weird because I'm using my middle and pinky. But we have right, and it's a good way to kind of, get the fingers going, obviously, but right? And it can lead on to other things. So there it is. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you're interested at all in learning any of these riffs that I've shown in this video, you can check out all the tabs on my blog. I'll include a link in the description. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks again.